Good day. I'm joined with Robin Shakespeare from the United Kingdom. He's worked with NIFDI on a project regarding math. And so, Robin, I'd like to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your use of DI.
Okay, thank you, Brian. So my name's Robin Shakespeare. I'm the Director of Education for the Midland Academies Trust. We are a group of 4 secondary age schools in the UK, in the south of the UK. And we'd been, prior to our relationship with NIFDI, we'd been working on direct instruction for a number of years, but we were entirely self-taught. And we became acquainted with NIFDI through being introduced to them by the Education Endowment Foundation. Now, that's a UK-based education charity. And both my trust and NIFDI had applied to run a direct instruction pilot in the UK. And through working with NIFDI, we became very quickly aware that not only were we 2 very like-minded organisations when it came to direct instruction, but that they had an enormous amount that they could bring to what we wanted to do in the UK. And through partnering with them, we were actually successful in securing funding for the very first government-funded pilot of direct instruction in England. And from that point forward, our relationship has broadened and deepened, and now it includes working with NIFDI on a regular basis, both remotely and face-to-face, in training our staff over in the UK on delivering direct instruction. And that broad relationship and that ongoing relationship has been invaluable for us in moving our understanding and our ability to deliver direct instruction successfully in our schools over here.
So what has been the effect? How broad has the reach been beyond that initial project, if there has been?
So I think it's been hugely effective. Some of the things that I think has made it really successful and why NIFDI I think is such a good organisation to work with is, as I said, our understanding of direct instruction and the understanding of direct instruction in the UK has been pretty much self-taught. So we've watched videos on YouTube, we've found a few pieces of information, we've been able to access some training through the content that we had available to us. But the difference that NIFDI has had has been really transformational. So when you work with NIFDI, you suddenly get tapped into a very deep professional and academic understanding of how to make direct instruction work in education. And that's something we didn't have before. Our approach was very much trial and error. And not just in terms of the pilot project, but in terms of our development of direct instruction, both within our 4 schools and with our friends and our partners and the people that we work with over here in the UK, has been really transformational. So it's taken direct instruction as a concept and the direct instruction programs, the delivery of them from being more like a cottage industry, which was, enthusiastic amateurs, to being something that more closely approximates something that is professional. And I think that's revolutionized our understanding and our delivery of direct instruction. And it's had an enormous benefit on the young people in our schools and the young people in the schools in the pilot and the young people in the schools with our partners and our friends over here. So I think when you work with NIFDI, you're working with a group of people who are professional, who are passionate, and who are challenging in the best sense of the word. And they've been incredibly generous, and they're always willing to go the extra mile to make things work for us, including a not insignificant time difference over here between the 2 countries. But I think without that relationship, we would have continued in a quite amateur way of delivering direct instruction without knowing that we weren't delivering it actually in a way that had a huge amount of fidelity. And whilst, yes, we were seeing some impact through doing so, the impact that it's had in terms of the progress of our young people has been a marked improvement. So yeah, the word I used at the beginning of what I said was transformational, and I would say that really categorizes our relationship with NIFDI.
Excellent, excellent. Is there an expansion of use of direct instruction in Midlands, or is it kind of status quo? Or
no, so we're continuing to use it. So we already use it for maths, or math, as you would say, for math and for English, and clearly in the current context with the challenges that education across the world has had in the last 12 to 18 months, there are a number of students who are coming in and coming back to our schools, and we're finding that they've fallen further behind. So there's an expansion certainly in the scope, and what we're now doing is formalizing through our work with NIFDI, and I guess our understanding of what it means to properly support and be able to deliver direct instruction within your own school, but in other people's schools with fidelity, and help support them to do it. We've taken that as an opportunity to grow our own internal capacity, and we now have across our trust a direct instruction lead trainer, and thankfully just agreed this now for the next 12 months. She's going to be released to be able to work within our schools, and she's already fielding a lot of calls and a lot of interest from schools within the region and across the country to go and do some work with them. So it's like I say, it's taken direct instruction from a thing that a few people understood and knew a little bit about to something now where we've got a reach and a capacity within our group of schools, but more importantly, I can see it expanding regionally and potentially nationally.
Wow, that's great to hear. Robin, do you have any parting words that you'd like to impart to our vast viewing audience?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was a vast viewing audience. Well, in that case, I would just like to really wholeheartedly recommend NIFDI to anyone that's thinking of working and getting into the field of direct instruction, capital DI. Working with NIFDI means you're working with the acknowledged authority on direct instruction. And if you tap into that kind of expertise, it just means that you can benefit from shortcuts that otherwise you have to go through the whole sort of fumbling process of gradually becoming better at delivering direct instruction. Whereas if you actually partner up with somebody who is the originator, the expert, you can just benefit from their experience, the experience of the schools they've worked with. And I think that, you can't put a price on that kind of shortcuts, because ultimately what it means is that you're shortcutting the time it takes from implementing something that you've never done before to it actually starting to make a difference with young people. And that's what we're in this business to do. So yeah, that would be my parting comments on that.
Indeed. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. We wish you continued success. We know we have definitely at NIFDI have valued our partnership with Midlands Trust, and look forward to more great experiences for the success of the students. So thank you again for your time.
Not a problem, Brian.